What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Theory Eternity Season 2. This is episode 19, and with me as always, I have Louis Bid.
I almost have a loss for words
Yeah.
of just watching this episode in particular.
My worst fears have been realized. I mean, I knew this was going to happen, of course. Like you said before the recording, you knew that this was going to happen. I mean, I knew it too. I think we all knew it as soon as they introduced the idea that Fuji could resurrect people and bring them back from the dead. But it goes
far
brings
beyond
back
this.
everybody. Everybody comes back. Like all the ghosts that Bond was seeing, even those people get brought back. Why? Like I don't. Oh God, I just don't know. Like
I think I could have been okay if it was just Fushi's friends that he's met over the years, like Gugu, Tonari, March, and somewhat. But bringing back everybody, that's just like.
Even the bear comes back.
Even the bear comes back. The bear's okay, I guess, but it's just like literally bringing back everybody who got killed in the assault with the knockers. That just defies logic at this point.
Yeah, like it's like nobody even died during the attack, and the knockers, they easily get defeated. But I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves. Of course, the episode starts as after the end of the last episode, as we know, Bond had basically sacrificed himself to try to give Fushi a form to come back to. This is one of the few things in the episode I actually think was a kind of good idea, because it makes sense, because as we know, Bond can see the spirits of Fushi's dead friends, and once Fushi takes Bond's form, he can also see those spirits. So I kind of like that they did that. It did make some sense. What doesn't make sense, however, is that when Bond is a ghost, why does he revert back to like the personality he had before, and not the one that he had after his? I guess he went through some character development. Now he's back to who he was in the beginning, which I don't really understand why. Like, I don't know. Is there, are they trying to say like that's who he really wants to be? I don't know.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's something that it's from when he was dreaming in his paradise vision and whatever, I guess. But it just I don't know why they decided to go with his original design. It just I don't know. Fushi is able to reunite with his friends. I think it was. I mean, in a way, it was like a touching scene, seeing him reunite with everyone that he's met over the years, especially interacting with March for the first time in a more like intellectual manner than he was back when he first met her, because he was like, he still had like a mentality of an animal or a child at that point.
Yeah. It was nice to see everybody come back and interact with Fushi again. But of course the problem with that is just it's everybody can just come back from the dead. The way it was described before is that, like Bond said, that I guess some people just decide, I guess, to go on to the afterlife instead of sticking around. But I guess all of Fushi's friends decided to just stick around, and I suppose have just been watching over him the whole time that they had been dead.
Yeah.
And that's how he can just bring them all back.
Yeah. Like I mentioned in the last episode, there are limitations to like what kinds of people Fushi can bring back. Because if we remember, couldn't be brought back because apparently she went into paradise of sorts, meaning her spirit.
That was one of the things I don't really understand that either, to be honest, because it seems like she would want to come back. Like, it seems like she would have had like all these regrets and she wouldn't want to pass on, considering like, she tried to kill herself, and, there's a lot of things she still wanted to do. I just don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense. She's the one character I don't know why she would pass on, or considering what we know about her.
Yeah, considering that she would need more time to be with Messar to make amends, I guess. But it just seems like I don't know. I don't know I think it was a bad idea for them to just permanently kill her off like that. It just didn't make sense. And then we finally get to see another scene with Kahaku I guess saving Echo uh from the knocker that infected her in the last episode. And of course, the knocker in a way tried to kill Kahaku, but Kahaku, I guess, I guess in a way influences the knocker to come back to him because um, saying that like his family line can live on for much longer than Echo because she can like she can only live for like for whatever how long I guess without I guess I don't know
I
family.
mean, I'm wondering how Kahaku even knew how much longer she was going to live.
I mean based on like the average human lifespan
I
during that
guess
time,
so.
I guess in a way, I guess, but it's just with Kahaku, I guess he gives a good point because his family line has been going on for what like for 200 years, and that knocker has been
Yeah,
passed down to his family for whatever how long it's been going on for, and it looks like it's still gonna go on for whatever how long it's gonna go for now that it's
I
returned back to his body.
I mean, it does just make more sense that Knocker's just going to stick with that with him and his family and just continue to pass on to the next generation.
Yeah,
Um,
and of
but
course, soon afterward, he decides to leave, and not return to Fushi, but
what I thought what they were going to do as well, like when as because as we know, like that Knocker was taking the form of the boy and also some other people. I was actually thinking that they were going to make that Knocker be like, I don't know, maybe like the main villain in a way, and have him like go up against Fushi in the future or something like that. I guess it could still happen, but that's what I thought they were kind of setting up, was that maybe the Knocker was going to separate itself from Kaku and become like maybe as powerful as Fushi and gain its sentience or something like that.
or I could assume that the Knocker would permanently uh, be a part of Kahaku and I guess take over his
Yeah.
consciousness permanently in a way. Because
Yeah, because when we see Kahaku walk away, his instead of I guess going to his arm, it's now kind of like attached to his face or something. And he just he basically just leaves. He leaves like a he leaves a message. I forget who it was.
he leaves a message. Well, it's for Fushi, of course, pretty much
Yeah.
expressing his regret that over the centuries that his family tried to help Fushi, he really felt like his family didn't really accomplish much of anything. So he decides, to go back or whatever he's going to do to disband his family line of sorts. But
I
think,
also thought it was kind of just real quick. I thought it was kind of amusing how the guy he gave the message to, like, kind of conveniently just forgets that he was, I mean, that he had betrayed them and had killed them earlier, and just kind of lets him walk away. I don't know. I was like, why were you just letting him go? I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't you want to get revenge?
I mean,
or-
Bond brings up this point is saying like, you could have easily killed Kahaku anytime you would have wanted
Yeah.
to, but then he just decides. I guess it's because of Fushi's ongoing naivete and his good nature of sorts.
Yeah. Well, and his naivete really doesn't make sense at this point, considering he's supposed to be immortal. But that's one of the criticisms I just have of his character in general, though, is like it never feels like he develops that much. Like he's still like the same kind of character after hundreds and hundreds of years. Like he doesn't really change.
Yeah, and eventually, like, the episode just continues to. I guess it goes into a montage of everything that's happening with all of Fushi's friends fighting off the knockers and Fushi bringing everybody back, and I guess in a way,
Yeah.
they all somehow defeat the knockers, and then they obtain victory somehow after all of that.
Also, like what I thought was really ridiculous too is that apparently there was this one like a prince character that shows up that I didn't even know about. I was like, who is this person? And he just shows up.
Where did he come from?
Where's he been
thought-
this whole time? Like, where was he during the fight? Like, he just shows up now after everything's over.
I mean, considering his sister is dead now, and his father and sister are dead now, so I assume he's gonna be taking over the kingdom of sorts. But it just seems like there's this massive battle going on, and he decides now to just show up to help out, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't. it's just another thing that didn't really
just
make
so-
sense at the time when I first heard about when I first saw this scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this episode was just I don't know. I was trying to be, give I've been I mean this whole season I've been trying to give it a chance just to look past a lot of these annoying things that they're doing, but it's just really hard to ignore at this point, especially considering how ridiculously overpowered Fushi is. And one of the other main problems is that when you think about it, of course the main villain is the Knockers, but aside from that, the series just doesn't really have a main antagonist, and I felt like that's why I was kind of interested in maybe that Knocker turning into kind of a main antagonist, being I guess in a way the anti-Fushi, considering now he has the form of the boy.
I think it's still possible that Kahaku's Knocker is likely going to be the main villain, and if I were to guess,
but I feel like at this point it's too late in the series to do something like that. They've why are they doing it now? They could have done this way earlier, and I feel like they should have, but it's just, I don't know. It's just weird for them to do that now if that's what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know. This episode was there were some things I liked, such as the Fushi being reunited with his friends, but the way it happened was really stupid. And I felt like it really just cheapens all of their deaths just for them to all be brought back now. And especially for the effect that it had on Fushi, it just doesn't really matter anymore. Because he can just bring everybody back. If somebody dies, he can just bring them back to life. And there's not really much limitation. The only limitation on his ability is if the person wants to be brought back, or they want to, I guess, pass on to the afterlife. That's the only real limitation that he has. So I don't know. I thought it was it's just a really bad idea for him to have an ability like that.
So I guess we're gonna have to wait till the season finale of next week of sorts. I
feel like there's not much more they can do at this point. I'm sure it's just gonna be an epilogue episode or something.
Yeah, it is gonna be an epilogue episode from what I can tell based on the previews, but it just seems like I'm pretty sure they're likely gonna hint at what they're gonna be doing in future seasons, maybe, but it just seems
I really am wondering if they're going to do a season 3, because I just can't, like I said before, it's hard for me to believe that there are a lot of people watching it. I feel like a lot of people probably dropped this season. I guess there's could still be a season 3, but I don't know. I find it unlikely, to be honest. What are they going to do in the season for season 3?
Have Fushi just continue to live on into the modern age. Well, that's supposedly where the story has gone, based on what based on some of the images that I've seen on manga covers. But in terms of where they're going to be taking this story, for who's going to be the main villain, I'm still guessing that Kahaku and his Knocker are both going to, I guess, obtain their own sort of immortality of sorts, and then just be the new antagonist toward Fushi of sorts. I don't know. It's possible, but I just don't know how they're gonna keep going. Keep the story moving forward, considering that how much that Fushi can really end up doing now.
Yeah, and all the friends he brought back now are technically they're also immortal. So they're just gonna, I guess, be with him the whole time, and they'll it'll be interesting though, because I think the way it works, at least with Fushi, is that his body will age, but but as soon as he takes a new form, he will revert back to the age he was when he first got that form.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of wondering how it would work for for everybody that came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. It's unfortunately, it's just been a really disappointing season, in my opinion, compared to the first season. I feel like the first season had a lot of potential, and then season 2 just really has been dropping the ball with a lot of things. I think just giving Fushi more powers, more abilities, and also the pacing has been pretty bad. So that, in combination with that, it's just been a really hard season to get through.
It's just the emotional drama that was a part of the first season. It's just there's just nothing
It's
here.
pretty much gone. I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's
gone.
no reason for it anymore because Fushi has the ability to just bring everybody back to life, and I mean, there's no reason to get invested in the characters or anything. I mean, and just to care about anything that might happen to them
Yeah,
because they'll just come back to life.
it's just the first season was interesting because seeing like Fushi is just this immortal person who can't die, just going through the ages, just witnessing all of his friends just die one way or the other, and
Yeah,
just
it was
for
like
that to be
showing
all.
the pain of being immortal and having to watch as the people you love, die either suddenly or of natural causes or something. And I mean, it's an interesting question to ask, but then season 2 just completely foregoes all of that and decides to give Fushi these abilities to bring everybody back to life and have them be immortal alongside him. And it just kind of forgets the appeal of the series in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess anyway we'll have to wait till next week for the season finale to see
Yeah.
where they're going to be taking the show going forward, because I would assume that they're likely going to go for a season 3 if they're really interested in doing so, but it's just, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just a weird way to end off that whole battle with the knockers, just the way that it did. I mean, they couldn't even go off on a Pyrrhic victory. It's just just an overwhelming victory for the good guys, and just having everyone technically survive the fight without almost without any effort in the end.
Yeah, and it just makes it inconsequential. Like it's just a joke. Like they just they get brought back to life, and I mean, it would be one thing if it was just like a victory, but they barely managed to survive or something like that, and it would have meant more. But the way it happened here was just, all the people that died, we're just gonna bring them back. I don't know. I think it, like I said, and I feel like a broken record at this point, but I think the main problem, of course, is just giving Fushi this power. It is basically kind of, there are other things, but it's one of the things that's kind of just completely ruining the story, in my opinion. It just feels like this is a series that should not have gone on for as long as it has, like, unless, because it feels like the person writing it just didn't really know where to go with it. And I think that's the main issue. It just feels like it's kind of, some parts of it are just being drug out, and I think that's one of the main problems with the story, from what we've been seeing in season 2, is that it feels like it's just a lot. It's been a lot of padding, and it didn't need to keep going for this long. It feels like it should have reached its natural conclusion at a certain point, and it's still going. I don't know. That's how it feels to me. But that all being said, guys, I guess until next week, and we see what happens, what they're going to do with the epilogue. We will see you all next time.